Welcome back to my channel, or to my channel if you are new here. My name is Haley. I make videos about books, and today is no different. We're going to be talking about the 25 books that I have to read in 2025, or honestly, I can no longer call myself a reader if I do not read these. Some of these books have been on my TBR for quite a long time, whether that's physically or just on my Goodreads TBR, and I really just want to get them off. And they're books that I'm all excited about reading. I've been wanting to read for a really long time, and for one reason or another I just haven't gotten to it, or I've started these and I haven't finished them. So with that being said, let's get into it. I'm gonna go ahead and start with the one book that I have already read this year, and spoiler alert, I didn't like it, and that's In My Dreams I Hold a Knife. This book is following our main character who went to college, and one of her friends ended up being murdered. And then we are in dual timelines following her in college throughout her college years, and even some when she's a kid, which was part of the reason why I didn't end up liking this. And then we're also following her 10 years later when she goes to her college reunion, and she's reunited with a bunch of her friends from college, and they're kind of bonded by this one friend dying, and we find out what happens, and it was just kind of a mess, honestly, to me, and I just didn't particularly love this. I am doing vlogs based off of this video where I read the books that I'm talking about, and this will be in the first one, which will be up next Wednesday. And just prepare, because I have a rant about this book. The next book that I have is A Game of Thrones. This is a big book. I am working on becoming a fantasy girly. I just haven't in the past really put forth the effort to read fantasy, and A Game of Thrones is one of those that I really want to get to, so I do plan on doing so. I'm just very intimidated by the length of this book, and also I really wish I had like a bigger copy, because I'm honestly not a mass market paperback type of gal. But I digress. We're gonna get to this, and it's gonna be great. Do I have to explain what Game of Thrones is about? It's about multiple characters, and essentially the main plot is surrounding these things called White Walkers, which I don't even know if you're introduced to in this book, because in the show you're not even introduced to them until like the end of season 1, I believe. So yeah, I have watched some of the show. I think I'm on season 3 of it, but we're gonna get to this year. The next book that I have is another physical TBR book, and that's The Letters of Vincent Van Gogh. I did start this. I don't even think I got through the first letter, or no, not even the first letter. I think like the prologue or introduction or whatever. So this is basically a collection of letters of Vincent Van Gogh's that he had wrote to his brother, and I'm very excited to read this. I'm not like a deep art type of gal, but I do love art, and Vincent Van Gogh is one of those people that I really love. I highly recommend the movie. What is the movie called that William Dafoe plays in? That he plays Vincent Van Gogh, and it details his life, and I just absolutely love that movie, and I cannot think of what it's called, but I'll put it up on the screen because it is just chef's kiss, one of my favorite films, I think. So definitely I'm very excited to get to this, and this is definitely a type of book that I'm gonna read over the course of a month or two, because I want to take my time with it. And also I mean, it's not long, actually. It's like 400, almost 500. It's 500 pages. It's kind of long, so I do want to get to it. It doesn't look that long, but I think it's just because the pages are thin, but I do plan on getting into that as well. The next book I have may put me in the red flag territory of please don't judge me based off of some of these books, because I've wanted to read them for a really long time for whatever reason, and I completely understand why some people do not like them, but I'm gonna read them and I may be in the category I'm not liking them. But one of the books is 1Q84. This book is, it's kind of big. It's like 1,200 pages or something like that. 1100, it's 1100 pages. I did get like kind of far into it. As you can see, I have tabs. This was back when I used the neon ones, and part of the reason why I haven't picked this up, as well as another book in this list, because I had started it, I read it with neon tabs, and so I gotta keep up the neon tabs, but I don't particularly love them anymore. 1Q84 is kind of a really difficult book to pin down a description of. We are following different points of view, and we have so much going on. It's like fantasy, it's literary fiction, it's romance, it's really just this crazy odd book, and honestly I think really ambitious. I'm like 100, let's see, where is the last tab? Okay, the last tab's at 140, and there are definitely things that I've already read that I'm just like, that's odd, that's a little weird, why would you put that in a book? Why is that something that was important for you to write? But I digress, and I'm gonna continue it because I just need to know. I need to know what's going on, and I do plan on getting to this. But once again, honestly, this list is really full of just thick books, and I don't know what to do with that. But we're gonna continue on, and I'm gonna make my way through them. Just know this year is the year that I get over my fear of big books. I'm a slow reader as is, and so the fact that I will also be reading these huge books, it's going to take me like a month to get through some of these. Honestly, maybe 2 months, and that's where I'm a little scared. But it's alright. I'll power through and it'll be fine, you know? Yeah. The next book is Middlesex. This is another book that's on my physical TBR. This is something I've been wanting to read for a really long time. I know it follows, I think, a family, and that's all I really know. It says it's an exhilarating reinvention of the American epic, and I'm gonna go into it and I'm gonna read it. I've heard really great things about this book, so I think I'll enjoy it. I hope at least the writing is really beautiful, and that's all I need sometimes, is just some really great writing, because sometimes, I'm gonna keep it real with you, I read trash writing. Also, little disclaimer, if you can hear yelling in the background, that's my sister. Ignore her. She's playing her game, and we're just gonna ignore it. The next book is A Little Life. Once again, it's thick, but I started this. I did not get that far into it by any means, maybe like 40 or so pages, and that's okay because I'm gonna continue it. I'm gonna continue reading. I know that this book is probably going to make me cry, and that's fine. Sometimes you need that, but I'm excited for it. So in A Little Life, all I know about this is that we're following 4 college roommates, and it's just about their life, and I know nothing else really about it besides it following them and it being kind of a sad book, and that's all I need to know. That's all I want to know. The next book is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I did actually start this. I don't even think I finished chapter 1. I kind of just picked it up and I was like, let me just read this. And I am very intrigued by it from what I have read. I don't really know much about it. Once again, I need to start reading synopsises. Maybe that's something I should be doing this year and from now on. In The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, we are following Addie LaRue, and I believe it's told through multiple timelines, and basically she is like reincarnated, and nobody... What the fuck is this about? From my understanding, Addie LaRue is about Addie LaRue, and she is kind of reincarnated multiple times, and nobody knows who she is, nobody recognizes her, and then one day a boy recognizes her, and she's kind of like, how do you know who I am? And yeah, that's all I know. I'm good with that. The next 2 books I actually have out from the library because I wanted to go ahead and get some of these books and read them. So I have these to show you, which I didn't when I first filmed this. I forgot to mention, I have already filmed this video once, and I accidentally deleted it. But it's okay because it was kind of chaotic. The lighting was bad. It wasn't a great video, and now we're refilming it, and hopefully it'll be better. So the next book is They Can't Kill Us Until They Kill Us. This is a collection of essays about pop culture, race, and just life, I think. And I'm very excited about this. I think that I'm really gonna enjoy it. I love a good collection of essays. I'm not really like a short story type of gal, at least not that I have found. But I do love a good collection of nonfiction essays, and so I'm really excited to get into this. The next book I have is Monsters: A Fan's Dilemma. This is a nonfiction as well, and this is basically talking about famous people and how to separate the art from the artist, and if you can even do so. As somebody who has kind of stepped away from following celebrities and really taking the time to realize that celebrities aren't good people, and that at least not all of them, and it's really difficult to know a person based off of just what you see in the public eye. I am really intrigued by this because I have like really stopped caring about celebrities and that type of media, and really I just consume like books mostly now. But when I do consume music, movies, that type of stuff, I try to steer clear of the ones that have negative people attached to it. I have, once again, a humongous undertaking and something that I just know I am probably going to love, but I also know that it's going to probably break me, and that is Babel. And by break me, I don't mean like emotionally. I mean I might not be able to walk out knowing how to read well, because I think I'm gonna use every single ounce of my brain power to read this book, and that's fine by me, honestly. But I'm very, once again, excited to read this. I have wanted to read Babel for quite some time. I bought it like 2 years ago and I still have not gotten to it. I did once again start it, but I didn't get that far into it. We're not going to talk about it. But yeah, this is also a very popular book, so I just need to get to it because obviously. The next book that I have is another book that I have started, and can you tell why these books are on this list? Because I've started them and I just haven't dedicated enough time to actually read them because I have commitment issues. So, and that's House of Leaves. Guys, this book is so long. It takes me like 4 or 5 minutes to get through a page. I'm not even kidding you. And I have tried multiple times to pick this up and read it. I stopped reading this at one point in time and I had made it maybe like 30 pages through, and then when I picked it up again, I was like, I'm gonna start from the beginning. Bad decision on my part. I don't even think I made it to the part that I had originally been to when I read it the second time. So I really need to dedicate the time to read this. I feel like I'm really gonna enjoy it, but I just, my brain can't. And I just really want to read this so bad. I got it out from the library as well, and then I got it for Christmas last year. And now I'm at the point where I just need to pick it up. I need to read it. I need to get through it. And hopefully soon I will. The next book I've been working on throughout January. I'm almost actually done with it. And that's Ordinary Monsters. I freaking love this book. I'm so in love with it so far. I'm this far through, if you can see. So I have roughly 200 pages left, and I just have been picking this up and reading it throughout the month, and I'm really enjoying it. We're following characters who are kids, and they have these things called talents, which is essentially just like superpowers, and each of them super unique, and they all kind of have a purpose once you get throughout the book and you kind of learn that. And this is part of a trilogy as well, so I have the second one that I got as an arc, and that was originally why I had picked this up and wanted to read it, and then I never got around to the arc before it had actually come out, so I have that as well. Anyways, we're also following multiple other characters. We're following basically like these recruiters who find the kids, and then we're following the man who's in charge of this institute that the recruiters take the children to protect them. We're following the villain. We're following so many different people. We're also in 2 different timelines. We have one timeline that takes place about 10 years before the current timeline that we're in, and this is also kind of like historical fiction. There's a lot going on in this book, and I'm eating it up. I love every second of it, and it's great. It's fantastic, and I absolutely adore this book so far. So you will also see my review of this in the next video. The only other 2 books that I physically own or have in my possession right now physically are this one, The Setting Sun. This is a book that I've been wanting to get to for a couple years now. I originally read No Longer Human, and I really enjoyed it. No Longer Human, I wouldn't say it's like an all-time favorite book, but I do really appreciate it. And I think that it's just so brilliantly like written, and just, it's such a great book. And so I really want to pick up The Setting Sun. I bought this I think at the same time as No Longer Human. I just really love the covers of these, and I just think this would be a really great book, and it's also really short. So I do want to get to this one. And then the only other one that I have is another one that I have started and has the neon tabs, and that is On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous. It's written in such a beautiful way, and it's such like a stunning book. And for that, when I had originally started reading this, I was really taking my time with it, and at some point along the way I kind of just put it down, and I really just want to get back to it and read it and finish it. So the rest of the books on this list I don't have in my possession right now, and so for that we're really going to be just popping the photo on the screen. So let's talk about these books. The first is Earthlings. This is another short book. It's supposed to be really weird and kind of chaotic, and I'm here for every ounce of it, and I just really want to get to this and read it and hopefully enjoy it. And then another kind of short book is Almond. This is a book following a boy who has something wrong with his amygdala. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it or not, but it basically means that he can't form images, and I don't know, of people's faces, I think, and I think that's right. Don't hold me to that, but I'm very excited to get to this one as well. It's just something that I have really wanted to read for a really long time, and for whatever reason I haven't either like had access to it, or I just haven't been able to get to it. So I really want to read this and talk about it with you guys. The next book is one of the books that I was talking about that's kind of a red flag. That's Infinite Jest. This book, once again, is really long. I've thought about buying it multiple different times, but I've kind of just not done so. And I really want to get to it. I have, like I said, been wanting to read this for a really long time. I know nothing about it. And when I had first originally started to become interested in it, it seemed like something that I wanted to read. But honestly, now that I have waited so long, I don't know if that's going to be the case, but I still want to try to pick it up and try it, and hopefully I enjoy it. And if I don't enjoy it, it will get DNF'd because that book is way too long, but hopefully I do. Another long book is The Secret History. I know this is like considered the dark academia book. A lot of people talk about it. I feel like this is kind of in the same vein as just being like a kind of a sad type of book. And I know we're following students. I believe they're in college, and I don't know much else about it. And I think this book will be really great during like the fall time, so I probably will wait to pick it up until then. But when I do pick it up, I am going to probably devour it, because I just feel like it's the type of book that I will really enjoy, and that's really like up my alley. Another short book is Convenience Store Woman. This is about this woman who is, I believe, autistic, and she works at a convenience store, and it's, from my understanding, kind of stream of conscious type of writing. She's just talking about her day and how ordinary it is, and it's supposed to be just like following her, and I think that it'll be a really good and quick read. but also I really love every single cover for this as well. I love how colorful they are, and yeah, I just definitely, I just want to read this so bad. And it's just another book that I've had on my radar for a really long time. The next book is Lonely Castle in the Mirror. This cover I absolutely love. I need to get my hands on it and physically own it, but regardless, I at least need to read it this year. I don't really know nothing about it. Based off of the cover, it feels like kind of fantasy, but I feel like it's not. But I really love the cover. I love the title. I just think that this is going to be a really well-rounded type of book that I'm really going to enjoy. If you can't tell, I think all these books are going to be really great books that I'm really going to enjoy, because that's all I can say about them. The next is another R.F. Kuang that I actually don't own, but that's The Poppy War. I have been wanting to read The Poppy War for a really long time as well, and because I'm trying to get into like my fantasy type of era, I need to pick this up and I need to read it, and I think it's like a trilogy, or maybe there's 4 books, I'm not really sure, but regardless, I'm gonna pick the first one up and hopefully really enjoy it, because yeah, I need to experience it. I feel like this is a type of fantasy book that a lot of people talk about, especially if you're trying to get into fantasy. So I will be picking it up and reading it. The next 2 books are actually nonfiction books. So I wanted to have kind of a variety of nonfiction books and authors on here, even though 2 different authors have 2 different books on here. And I didn't even realize until after I'd made this list. But what can I say? I have gravitated towards their books and I just really want to pick them up. And then also I'll know if they're for me or not, because I'll have read at least 2 of their books. I do enjoy nonfiction from time to time, so I definitely wanted to have some nonfiction on here, and I also just need to read more nonfiction in general. It's something that I really have wanted to try to prioritize more of. Oh my god. The next book is Bad Feminist. This is, I believe, also a collection of essays. I absolutely have loved Roxane Gay's writing in the past. I think I've read 2 of her books so far, and I have enjoyed both of them. But I am very excited to get to this. This is probably, I got to tell her to shut up. Michaela! Stop yelling, please. Now, maybe we're good. I just really enjoy Roxane Gay's writing, and I can't wait to pick this up. I really think I'm going to enjoy it. This is probably her most popular nonfiction, so this is definitely something that I need to pick up and I need to read. The next book that I have written down is The Creative Act. This is, once again, a nonfiction, and it's just talking about creating and the art of it. This was also really popular last year, and I saw so many people reading it, both like regular readers and also people who don't read regularly. So this is definitely a nonfiction that I want to pick up and try. The next book is once again a dark academia type of book, and that's If We Were Villains. Once again, I don't know much about this. I'm pretty sure it also takes place at a school, and regardless, I think I'm really going to enjoy at least like the vibes of it. I feel like the atmosphere is going to be top notch in this, so I am very excited to pick this up and read it. And then our 25th and final book is When the World Tips Over. This is the 3rd book that I would have read by this author, and I have loved one of her books and liked another one. Her book, I'll Give You the Sun, is one of my favorite books of all time, and so I really want to read this, obviously, and pick it up, and I just think I'm gonna really love this book, and I really need to get my hands on it and read it as soon as possible. And with that being said, that's 25 books that I need to get to and read this year. If I do not, I'm banned from reading. Cut me off. Don't let me post any more videos. Don't let me ever read again, because these are books that I have been wanting to get to for years mostly, and I just haven't. And at this point, I just need to read more, and especially read these. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna go, I'm gonna edit, and it's gonna be a good time. I'm done.